guys, I am back with another video. If you think like the lighting and the setup and everything like that is different, it's because I just wanted to do a quick sit down video with you guys, and I'm using my phone to film instead of like a camera or like a fancy camera or anything like that. So I have my window open, so you might hear breezes or stuff like that because it's a bit breezy. And you might hear my siblings in the background because they are doing dishes. But I just wanted to sit down and sort of talk to you guys about why I went vegan, because if you've watched some of my recent videos, you will probably know that I am vegan. So I'm 15 years old, and so basically I'm a vegan teenager. And I know that in my normal life I get a lot of questions, like, why are you vegan? What is it like to be vegan? Do you ever want to eat meat and stuff like that? And I sort of wanted to just, talk about it and sort of answer some of the popular questions that I get asked. So I think the story deserves to start out when I was a young child. Basically, ever since I was born and grew up in my family until about, I would say, 10 years old, I ate a plant-based, vegan, healthy diet. My family was very, no meat, at the house, not much sugar or anything like that. We would eat meat if we went to other people's houses or something like that, but really no meat or nothing processed or, bad for you in the house. So that's how I grew up used to eating. However, I will say, as a young child, there were definitely things that I wanted to eat and was like, Mom, why can't I eat this? Or why don't we get fed this? Or why can't you buy me a lollipop and stuff like that? I thank them now for how they, raised me, because I think it affected me a lot in my teenage years. So yeah, basically I was a child that grew up in a very healthy vegan home. My mom did all the cooking, lots of healthy snacks and healthy dinners and stuff like that. Hardly ever went out for dinner, and we had a very active lifestyle. And then about 11 years old is when I went on a 6-month backpacking trip, basically. And that was the first time I'd been allowed to eat, a bunch of granola bars and soda and stuff like that, because, we weren't able to eat healthy and vegan while hiking and backpacking. You can, however, but we chose not to. Because I don't want you to get the idea that you can't hike and be vegan and stuff like that, because obviously if I want to go hiking now, I will be eating vegan food. And then after that, after the 6 months, we went back home, and we never really retained or attained or continued eating the way we had before going on this trip. We were very healthy, and there was no dairy or meat in the house, but we had a bit more processed food and stuff like that. But then the real change happened when we moved to Montreal. So we moved to Montreal 3 years ago, and we had a lot more activities being in the city, a lot more places to go, a lot more social events. We were just a busy family, and my mom sort of burnt out from all the cooking she had to be doing, and was like, what, forget it, I'm just gonna buy processed snacks and stuff like that. And we weren't that unhealthy, don't get me wrong, we still were pretty healthy. And then, my mom started buying dairy because she wanted to have dairy. And then, so it started with maybe some cheese, and then some milk, and then some butter, and then eggs, and then meat. So slowly this all got incorporated into our diets, and I was like, oh yeah, freedom, I can eat the stuff that I never got to eat when I was a kid. It was that rebellious little streak in me. I was like, yes, it almost feels like rebelling. But then after about 2.5 years of that, I would say maybe about 2. After 2 years of that, it was on my summer trip. So last summer we were traveling for 9 weeks all around the place. I did lots of vlogs of that. And I was just it started to cross my mind thinking about eating healthy and being I guess being vegan, that didn't quite cross my mind yet, but being healthier. So I basically on that trip started cutting out. I think the first thing I started cutting out was meat. I stopped eating that basically, and then sort of like I would consciously make the choice not to eat dairy, but like if there was dairy or something like that in something that was cooked for me, I would eat it. So I was pretty chill about that. But then, really near the end of our summer trip, I just was like, you know what? I want to be vegan. And it wasn't like this big, scary, daunting thing because it had been the way I had grown up for many years. And, my parents weren't the people who were opposed to it or didn't think you could get enough protein or enough B12. And so I knew that if I were to make this decision, they would support me because they had learned a lot in their years of raising 3 children about how to, feed a growing body and like give it enough nutrients and stuff like that. So really I was really able to be fully vegan when we arrived home. So that was around like August. I think it was around end of August, and that is when I truly was like, okay, now I can cook my own food and stuff like that. We're at home. I have a lot more freedom, rather than having to pick and choose, travel food and stuff like that. And so that's when I really truly started to be vegan. So that was like end of August, and now it is, I think it's June. Yeah, it's June. So it has been like a few months, basically. A fair amount of time, over half a year. So I've definitely, had like more experience with it. So that's sort of like the overall story of how things, went and how I grew up and stuff like that. And nowadays, a lot of questions I get asked are things like, do I miss eating meat or dairy? And I sort of touched on this in what I eat in a day. But to answer this question, I'm going to say that no, I don't. At first, I was like, how could I give up cheese? Like, who doesn't love cheese? And the reason why we love these, like, animal products so much, why our body, we just want to eat them, is because they actually, your body actually can get addicted to them. And once you sort of, I guess, break that addiction, your body doesn't feel the need to eat it anymore or have it anymore. And so I would say after like maybe half a month or a month of not eating dairy and stuff like that, my body stopped craving it and stopped feeling like it needed it. And so now, after months of being vegan, I cannot even imagine like eating, especially meat. Like, to me, meat now is like, it honestly really grosses me out. And I can't imagine eating the flesh of another animal. It's just like, ugh. So, and dairy, like, I just remember how you get that like phlegmy and like just kind of gross feeling that comes along with dairy. And I don't get that anymore, and it feels great. Like, your body just feels lighter, and your digestion is so much better, and life just feels so much fuller and healthier and just happier. I don't know. So that's to answer like the question I get asked all the time. Like, do you want to be eating this? Like, my friends like eating pepperoni pizza and like, do you want this? And I'm like, no, I don't actually. As I eat my nice little homemade vegan pizza and everything like that. So I guess I'm also going to answer the question why I became vegan. I know I just sort of like, you guys might be like, didn't you already just say that? But I went vegan, so as I said, for health reasons. But later on in the months of being vegan, I started to do research and follow vegan YouTubers and people on Instagram who are vegan. And I started to learn more and realize the industry of meat and dairy, because I used to think, well, drinking milk doesn't kill animals, but the sad reality of it is it actually does. because like, okay, let's just go into this. The mama cows get unnaturally impregnated, and then so that they actually produce milk, and then those baby cows go off to veal farms. So you are actually contributing to animal death and abuse and stuff like that. And I am very like caring and sensitive. This is not like a you know, like I'm an amazing person, but one of my attributes is I'm sensitive, and I can, what's the word? I don't remember the word. But empathetic, maybe that's the word. And seeing and hearing about how these animals got treated, and, you know, realizing that we would never do this to humans, but yet we feel it's okay to do it to animals, is like horrific, and it's terrible, the misery and the pain that these animals go through. And, you know, I'm like, if you love your pet so much, you know, why do you feel like you can murder a bunch of other animals? It doesn't compute to me. However, I do know that I once was in a place where I, you know, loved my cat, but ate animals. But the thing is I guess once you get informed, I don't know how you cannot realize that being vegan is the best way to go. So it was started off being health reasons, and then it became a lot more to do with animal and their, to not contribute to their suffering and stuff like that. And there's a whole nother aspect, which is environmental. Being vegan is so much better environmentally because, well, first of all, a lot of reasons, but say one, it takes tons and tons and tons of acres of grass to feed cows, and they have to tear down a bunch of beautiful forests in order to feed these cows, whereas if you weren't eating cows, you know, you wouldn't have to contribute to the tearing down of forests and stuff like that. So yeah, so it was health, and then it was environmental and animal rights and stuff like that. So another thing I get asked is it hard? You know, is it difficult to be vegan? I won't lie in saying that it is, you know, always easy or anything like that. Because the truth is that it is more difficult to be vegan than to not be. Because the world that we live in nowadays doesn't support veganism. You know, the food in the stores are full of dairy and meat and animal byproducts and stuff like that. Because that's what people now, that's the demand, because there are so many people who still eat those animal products. Becoming vegan is now more popular, which I'm really happy about, but still so many people in the world aren't vegan. And so it's in higher demand. With that being said, I think it isn't hard if it's a passion. You know, some people love writing. You know, writing can sometimes be difficult, but if it's your passion, you know, you strive to go through that difficulty and to grow and become better at what you're doing. And so for me, it's first of all my lifestyle now, and so it's what I'm used to, but also because I'm so passionate and I love being vegan so much that it doesn't seem like a chore anymore. You know, like because I have to make all of my own snacks, because not only am I vegan, but I'm also like whole food, plant-based, so basically I don't like a lot of processed things, so I make all of my own snacks. I make, you know, my breakfasts and my lunches and, you know, weekly dinners for my family and stuff like that. So it is more work, and you have to go more out of your way to find things that you can eat. And sadly, a lot of, say, the specialty vegan foods do cost a lot of money. But thankfully, my parents, you know, still pay for my food and stuff like that. I don't have to pay for all that yet. And so, you know, that hasn't really affected me. But, so there are, like realities of it is that, like, it is more expensive and it does take more work. Like, there's more food prep and more meal prep and more stuff like that. But, you know, I would never, ever go back to eating the way I did, because I just feel so vibrant and alive and beautiful when I'm vegan. Because I know that what's going in my body is meant for my body and is going to fuel me with good nutrients and stuff like that. And I just want to point out something, like how a lot of people love drinking milk. I just think it's so funny that it's ingrained in our head that it's okay to drink cow's milk, but it's like, why would we be designed to drink milk that was made for a baby cow? We are so different than a baby cow. Our digestive system does not work like a baby cow's, and so it is not good for our body. You know, like that would be like giving, like, I don't know, some like cat or dog, you know, human milk. Like, what? So it just, yeah, I don't think we were designed really to eat animals and eat animal products. I think we can live beautiful, vibrant lives just eating what our planet has. I guess the planet has animals, but eating what the ground grows out of it. Let's just say that. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about why I'm vegan and stuff like that. The lighting is kind of bad, I know, but I just wanted to sit down because it's a really important part of my lifestyle and I wanted to share it with you guys. And I wanted to just shed some light on it, maybe inspire people, maybe answer some questions that you might have been thinking or anything like that. And just, yeah, just really promote a life I want to live and a world that I want the earth to become, to love animals and to treat them respectfully and to fuel our body with food that was meant for us. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling because this is kind of a long, like, chatty video. I hope you guys like grabbed something to eat or something like that, something to drink, something to like cut down on the boredom. I'm kidding. I hope this wasn't that boring. Like, you probably clicked on the video if you wanted to know why I'm vegan, so, you know. Anyway, so yeah, it's evening time, so that's why the lighting might be a little bit bad, but you know what, I'm gonna stop talking about how the bad lighting is, because I'm gonna end this video, and I always get rambly at the end of my videos. So if you guys liked me chatting about being vegan, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this or related to, you know, beauty and fashion and stuff like that, then please subscribe, and don't forget to leave comments down below if you have any questions or ideas for future videos, I guess, like that and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.